Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tales from Tomorrow. My name is Kyle, and you're joining us for episode 6 tonight. We are picking up. I've got our comrade Sky in chat, who's playing his character Sam, and I've got comrade Raven in chat. Well, Mac Raven, who's playing her character Raven. My brain likes to get all these things discoordinated and discombobulated, so always bear with me in case I swap things around. It's me. It's my brain. You can hear me always like stumble and want to say Sam or Sky, or I don't know who I'm talking to half the time. Sky, you and your character are just melded in my mind. You've become Sam Houston. And how are you tonight, Sky? How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I hope you're doing well and everyone else here is as well.
I'm very excited to get into Fallout. I was doing some research on certain plot elements today. I'll kind of leave it at that vague notion that I was just watching some lore videos when I had the chance, and I went and knocked out a whole map that we may or may not get to interact with tonight. It might be something you guys do in the future. Who knows? But I just like to tease and to say hello to Raven. Raven, how are you doing this evening? We have you here in Discord chat, and she uses her text-to-speech program, just like her character in game. Raven has a vocabulator made by the beloved company Robco. Raven, what's up with you? Earlier, Mac was saying she's going to come in and steal this cool dice tray that I made that I've already moved off to the side. But while she types, I guess I'll make sure.
I have become the Raven of Kyle Mine. Mac is doing good. I have gotten over my cold.
Oh, good. She's over her cold. Her and I have been playing some Grand Theft Auto in our spare time in the night. So to everyone that's joined us for that over on Twitch, a huge thank you to coming by. That account is Overseer Kyle if you want to join us. But let's dive into the pressing content for this evening. A recap and a reminder that our friend Dark Knight is out for I believe the last week. He'll be back next, but he's still out for this week, which has Jim, his character, up in the town of Hope. Jim was working to get the last bits of the windmill together. He was overseeing that, and he's helping get a cryolator attachment on their Mr. Handy that goes by the name of Alfred. So that is the general overview for Jim. We'll get to check in with him. He was very wounded, by the way. That is the especially relevant part to this, is his battle with the Wendigo from weeks prior. He had a broken arm and leg and failed some injury saves. He failed his recovery saves, and thus the injuries perpetuated, going on day after day. And so it makes a lot of sense lore-wise that he is tucked out up there, resting. And that brings us to our characters here, Sam and Raven, who had decided to go on an adventure. And I'll pull this up on screen, actually, briefly. Sorry, everybody. I should have these visuals up for you in advance. They went down to this Red Rocket depot that you can see on the screen, but just to show where they were coming from, they were up in the town of Hope, which is the main questing hub for our characters. Let's get this. What do I have to do again? A refresh or a load or something like that. I do this every week and I forget. I need to press this button here. He says ominously. Where is it? Map number 2. Okay, this is the one I want. Anyway, that's fine. This will work. Sorry, I was trying to pull up a different one and it didn't happen. But anyway, you can see it well enough here on the screen. I'll zoom in a little bit further for you folks. But this is our character location. We got Jim up there in the town of Hope, and then Raven and Sam. Sam's character is a little bit big, his token's big. But if we look at where Raven is, this is about where the Red Rocket Depot at this intersection here. And maybe that's a good one for Raven and Sam to see especially, because I don't know that we really had as much time last session to show it. I described it, that it was at this intersection, but just so that you all have your eyes on it as well. That's where you are. So you're just down the road from the West Virginia Lumber Company. And basically last session, they had traveled from Hope to there, looking for generator parts, came away with a good bit of uncommon supplies, I think, and a pretty nice just inventory haul. Is that right, Sam? You got some
I'd
goodies
say
last
so.
week.
Yeah, because we did find that military little thing that was off to the side of the red rocket.
That's true. That's true. Let's pull that back up for folks so they can see this one as well. There we go. Okay, yeah, that's it. They looted this military sort of checkpoint fortification. I think Raven got a mine out of it, and stim packs came from it. All kinds of goodies. Then you all decided to stay the night here. So I think that's where we left off, right? Everyone was going to take a nap or maybe something like a full rest. I think we were going to roll to see if any creatures came a-knocking on your door in the middle of the night. And I may have held you in suspense on that, but I remember very seriously that the answer was no. You rolled clean that night. There was nothing coming to the door, but I did have to hold on to that answer because I thought it would be too easy to let you go, knowing it was safe. But nothing came a-knocking. You guys got a full night's rest, but this isn't a safe location, so you don't have those 2 maximum hit points added at this point in time. So you're down to whatever yours would be without the +2, and that's based on where you slept. It's sort of a safe area, but it's not comfortable, so you didn't get like a good night's rest, if that makes sense. That being said, you could choose to only sleep 6 hours, or you could choose to sleep as long as you want and kind of pick up whatever time in the day. And so I will pass it to you both if you want to get into character and make some plans, or you can feel free to ask me some above board questions as we're figuring out what's going on for the day.
Raven, I'm thinking today we could check out some of these we'll check out some of the engines, see if we can scrap anything from any of these cars. And if we can, that's awesome. If we can't, we'll move on. And otherwise, I'd like to go check out the radio station so that we can try to get some of these samples tested by Modus.
Yes, sir. Scraping and radio.
That sounds like a great plan to me. The voice from above speaking into your ear. If you want to try, there are some. I have no idea where I saw them. I'll have to find them. But there are some interesting scavenging rules that actually listed specific items. I think I'm getting very close to them. I think it's in the Settlers rule book that there are specific items you can scrap down. And I might want to see what you guys could get from maybe if there's any kind of generator engine stuff. Let's see. Oh, I might be wrong. It might be the other book. Doo-doo. Pardon me, everybody. Using locations, equipment, perks. Maybe it's not as easy as I thought it was to find. Ba-ba-ba. It'll come to me eventually. So let's go ahead. We'll have you do some perception checks over here. Actually, I think repair is going to be the number one skill that we'll lean into. That would be the most sensible for this. So, like repair and intelligence, or repair and perception. If you guys want to make a good argument for a different thing, I'm open to that as well. I don't want to be too stingy with it. But I think, trying to judge how active a car part might be sounds pretty repair oriented in my mind.
I will throw out.
I have one in
intelligence.
repair.
Sorry, you guys talked over each other. Try that one more time.
I'll throw out a repair intelligence.
Go for
I
it.
also have one in repair.
We'll say it's a difficulty. I don't know what your AP pool is, but we're going to go with difficulty 2, just considering that these cars are sort of out here, probably quite rusted, especially by the looks of some of them over here. They look a little down and out. I am totally failing to find this list, by the way. 1 success. Okay. I think as you're going through, Sam, there are a couple extra items we can roll on for you today. Let me see if I've got any of these like loaded into a module. Sorry, this might be a little bit of a night of me testing out some new systems, gang. I'm sorry, there's just so many new things in front of me. I don't know if any of these are... Ooh. Yeah, I got some random roll tables here I want to employ. Sam, you don't find that. You don't find any working engine or parts in that red car, especially. If you want to go car by car, we could do that too for the hell of it, so you guys get some loot. You do find some buff out sitting though on the under the chair, the driver's seat in there. So you can add one thing of buff out to your inventory. You're gonna get some random shit tonight, but you know you can sell or whatever you want with all this.
Yeah, I'm down to go check a couple cars because that way Raven can have a chance to roll as well.
Sure. Let's do that, Raven. Again, we can treat... how many cars do I have on the map? Let's double check this. I'll just call out that the limo, the blue-green cars, and that brownish-orange one, those can all be looted. The one that has, like, Raider stuff in it, we could loot that too, actually, if you want. And then the APC over there can also be looted. I don't think that was hit last week in particular. But I think one thing you would know from that is that it does seem to be sealed, locked, or fused shut. Could be related to weathering, could be something else. But you probably would have picked up on that last time given your inspection of the area, just to give you some extra insight and oversight. You let me know what you're going up to, and I will see what you get there. And, you know, we'll say for each of these cars, it'll be a difficulty 2 on that check for parts. And then, again, I'll roll a corresponding table for you on the side. So tell me what's up.
I'll check the limo. I don't know where Raven is right now.
Fair enough. I don't either. So Sam heads over. He's looking at the limo. The limo's more burnt out. That one's looking really bad. So I gotta say, yeah, we'll go with the difficulty 2 on that one as well, Sam, if you want to re-roll for that one. Mac's not on the map. What? That's strange. I don't know where you are. I put you by the limo, though. So maybe you're back. Maybe it got drug off the side or something. Either way, you're here now. I'll close the encounter section of it. It's frustrating me. I saw this more advanced scavenging system, and now that I'm trying to find it for everybody, my brain is just melted as to where it went. It's a bunch of loot tables with a bunch of like Fallout items that you can get, and I have just spaced on where that was last seen. But we're gonna go off the whatever of our whatever. Again, no luck on that one, Sam. Good attempt, but you can't see anything in there that seems of use or value related to the parts. But you do see... There is a random thing of food and a drink in there. There is Blamco, a box of Blamco tucked away. Maybe the driver was saving that for another occasion. Maybe on the go, got to stop and get something. And that's about all you find in there. Pretty picked dry and clean. Raven, you're going after the green car up there. Same for you, difficulty 2 on that one. And again, you can use your intelligence and repair if you'd like. Ooh. Raven got a complication on that test. What do you think is a reasonable complication for this, Raven? So you're in there. you're messing around, probably digging into the bits and bobs of the car. Complications are usually not something too painful, meaning the car is not going to explode in your face. But,
Kaboom.
Well, if you want that to be the complication, you can be your own guide of fate in this case. Do you want that to be your complication? If so, I'll make you roll on it. It's up to you how careful you're being with scavenging. To be fair, you almost rolled a second complication. You did not, but almost. That number was close. So, just as a little thought.
Okay. You're
doing it? It's exploding? Oh my gosh, Raven's going at it. Okay. It's so strange. Okay, so Raven is there. She is mucking around in there. Maybe not too much experience with cars. Maybe not much experience trying to harvest these kind of nuclear energy cars at that. And as Raven is messing around in there, digging in engine bits, she finds that there is enough charge in one of these fusion cells in there. Almost in excitement, ready to tell Sam, Raven grabs at it only for the car to quickly start going critical. Raven, you need to roll a difficulty 3 strength and athletics check to see if you can get out of the way of this blast. For example, you could go behind the vehicle next to it if you'd like, into that Raider a custom vehicle. Here, sorry chat, you're pulled off to the side a little bit, but she's over in this blue car here, and she's going to be trying to go up behind that in just a second. Oh, Raven. 2 successes. 2 successes with a 3 on the difficulty. You will take some damage for whatever this is rolled, but it will be a minor amount. So fret not too much, Raven. That's a 1, that's a 2, that's a 3, that's a 5. Cut that in half. 2 points of damage, Raven. You take most of the brunt to your right arm. 2 points of damage. And if you got any energy resist on that, it could apply to cut down on that damage. But basically, you were thrusting yourself behind that vehicle as you feel this explosion emanate from the blue car in one of the typical Fallout plumes. Sam, you would see this out of the corner of your eye. I don't know how attentive you would be to the lead up to this. I don't know if Sam has anything in mind, but you might see Raven kind of fly behind the car, very film style, where the explosion is propelling her out of the way.
Yeah, I start hearing the noises, and then the kaboom happens. I turn my head and just run and just make sure she's okay and just kind of pick her up.
Raven,
are you good, Raven?
Kaboom are fun.
Okay, if you're speaking, then you must be okay. Just be more careful, please.
Raven.
But I like kaboom.
Kaboom doesn't like you.
She's become quite proficient in dodging these explosions in recent weeks, from the Wendigo landmine that almost took her life.
Kaboom, not friend.
Kaboom, not friend. With that being said, there is no salvageable loot from that vehicle. If people want to move on to the next, you're welcome to do so. Looking at the map, there are still 3 vehicles in this area to hit. I think that one that you guys are sort of standing behind, the kind of raider setup vehicle, you could do that. I'm gonna say that one's a difficulty 3. You guys could assist each other too, just for what it's worth. I think that's perfectly fine. If someone succeeds, the next person could give a die to help with that, just to throw that out there for you. So whoever wants to lead looting that.
I'll give it a shot on this Mad Max style car.
Hit it.
Oop.
Burnt
Nothing.
out. Nothing in there. But I will say, you come upon... You come upon an issue of Grognak the Barbarian. Enter Malua, War Maiden of Mars. Malua? Maula. I don't know if I can send this to people. How do I share this with you all? Perk. Depending on the individual issue found. Oh, so it doesn't tell me right here. Oh, okay. We got to go look for it somewhere else. I'm going to send this to you guys in the Discord channel so we don't lose that. That way you also know for later. I can look that up in just a second here, actually. Maybe. Actually, I don't know that I have all the Grognecks digitized into Notion. I might have to look that one up later, too.
I'll fold that up and stuff it into my bag and keep on looking for these generator parts.
Off and on your way. Find the green car. Difficulty 2 for that one. And if you get a success, Raven can jump in and help, or vice versa, Raven, if you're taking the lead on this one.
You said we could do repair and intelligence. Was there another one you said that we could try?
Earlier I said a perception, if you want to use that, to perceive what parts of the car are still viable. Which might be a strong one for Raven. I think her perception's quite high.
That's what I was going to suggest as well.
That could be a very smart one for you, Raven. I swear on break, I'm going to find this rule thing I'm talking about. It's driving me crazy. Oh my God.
Please don't make this one explode.
Please don't make this one explode, he says. Raven, what is your complication?
Kaboom, Sam.
Is it kaboom?
Oh no.
Is it kaboom, Raven? You could also roll
kaboom.
You could roll a die if you want, leave it up to the fates. Or you could figure out a different thing for you. But I have more to say, but I don't want to say it. Just that the fates are in your hands, Raven. Or you could put them in the dice's hands. That's fine. She says kaboom, no kaboom. Let the dice decide your fate.
How about the door falls off, hit my foot?
That is absolutely valid. Learning from her last mistake, Raven does not set off a reaction in this. Good thing, too, because what I was paying attention to is your proximity to the other fuel pumps that are nearby. That, to me, seemed like a potential oopsie-doopsie. So, with that being said, good choice, Raven, good choice. That, in just quick, not, trying to reach for something in the car, that door actually slams shut on your foot for a moment, and we'll see we'll give you some damage here from a die. No damage, no meaningful damage, Raven. That is just a big ouch. No injury from that. But I will say, here's your other part. Nothing really salvageable from this car. On the interior, there's no goodies in here. So there you go. There's your trade-off. No injury, no harm, but no goodies. You have one last car in this area before you hit up the APC if you wish, and then you can also travel and do whatever you'd like. But you can also loot like anything out of the place still if you feel like you hadn't done so already. I'm just throwing that out there. Like, this search is taking up a decent amount of time, just as a heads up. Probably, well, I guess considering these are cars, I'd say to go through all of these, the explosion, all the rest, this is probably taking your characters about an hour to an hour and a half or so to do any of that. So still one more car outside if that's your plan to hit that up.
I kind of let her go to check on the final car, and I prepare to check on the APC, so I'm walking into this gas station to try to look for some tools, and there's this screwdriver, so I thought I might be able to use that to try to pry some of this rust off of it. Sure.
Yeah, and you can add, maybe if you want, Sam, you can add that to your inventory too, if you want to say like you actually have a screwdriver. I don't know that it's a formal item in the game, but if you just want to have a note that you've got one of those for the future for any kind of other leverage in situations.
All right, sweet. There are 2 ravens on the map right now. It doesn't really matter that she's in here too.
Oh, see, there you go. See, that's what it was. She wasn't gone earlier. She just couldn't see the icon, I think. That's probably the issue. So that explains that. Raven, what are you doing now? You're exploring the car?
Sure.
Go for it. Same test. That one's actually easier. That'll be a difficulty 1 in that vehicle. Oh, and 2 successes. So 1 action point back in your pool. We're going to say that there is enough salvage out of there. That actually counts as... I want to say this is going to count as like 1 working generator, just for the sake of this this quest that you've got. But I want to emphasize that if you're trying to take this back, it is heavy. You are looking at a car-sized sort of generator engine. I don't actually know how large they are in Fallout. I would imagine smaller because of the type of system that it is, but still a very substantial item. And I want to say if you're going to try and carry this back to Hope, there will probably be a penalty to your travel speed because again, something smaller than a real-life car engine, I'm imagining you're taking something maybe half the size of a real car engine back with you. Substantial in weight. Actually, you know what I'll also say? If you get into combat, this is just completely like, I'm not planning on that per se, but just to say, if you'd get in combat, that'd probably be the only time you have a real hard time with this engine, because you'll really have to make a choice as to like whether you want to like be encumbered by an engine or if you want to like put this thing down and do whatever you're going to do otherwise. You won't be able to like shoot and carry this massive piece of kit unless you guys come up with some other way to like jury rig a way to take it back.
Could we hide it for now, potentially?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I suppose you could just maybe not take it per se, if that makes sense. Or you guys could do something more with it. Here, I'm looking this up so that I'm not, kind of feeding you a line here. Those mini cars, though, I think those are fleas or a version of fleas. And maybe they're not exactly. They're a little bit different. But they've got it's a pretty substantial power block in it. I don't know if I can show this on the stream here easily. Let me see if I can open this page. Oh, and this picture comes courtesy of the Wand Company, which, oh my God, that's gorgeous. Holy crap. They have a Slocum Joe's car. I don't know what this was. They were doing like some little Fallout props. And here you can see on this image, it's maybe going to keep scrolling past. But for those that can see this stream, there's a picture of the flea, and it's got this blue glowing engine block in the back of it. So they're pretty large. It looks to be fairly equal to the size of the seat itself. So again, I just want to keep that realism in mind that it is probably hefty. So as for hiding it, Sam, you could leave it. You could try and remove it. You could... If you brought help from like protectrons or something like that, or if you got a Brahmin or any other kind of locomotion like that to help, you know, to pull or to drag or to anything like that, that would be pretty damn advantageous without telling you guys like one path you could take. Those are just all options. And Hope has a Brahmin and Dusty has a Brahmin, and yeah.
Good find, Raven.
Sam, I found a gen, but how to carry it? We could rig sled to drag it back, but not sure hauling it up to the tower. Wish Jim was here.
Oh, for sure, I do wish Jim was here. So also, because I'm sure he'd be excited to see this. What I think we could do is, since we're going to the radio tower anyway, we could stop by Rusty's house. Even if he's not there, we could just use his radio and talk to Hope and get them to send some people up here. We can then hit the radio tower. By the time that they get here, we'll probably be done with that and we could get back here.
Right, we should hide this for mothers.
I agree. Definitely close it back up.
Dark Knight, thank you so much for resubscribing. I appreciate that very much. Checking in from afar, he says. DK, thank you. Hey, they just found a generator that they think Jim might be excited about. As a heads up, whenever you decide to call Hope, it will probably take them. If you're hoping that they're going to dispatch, like if your plan is just to get like Tom or someone to dispatch others to help, just for your timing's sake, I think we said it would take an untraveled person getting here in about 24 hours would be about it. I'd say maybe 18 to get here because they're not really going up a hill like a mountainous area, but you're sort of equidistant to the radio tower. This is just for general planning. This doesn't mean your plan has to change because you guys could camp out and just wait for the sake of waiting. But just to call that out, that it'll probably take them about 18 hours from whenever you get in touch with them to dispatch them. We'll say that also includes, of course, the time for them to like prep themselves. You know, if you want them to bring the Brahmin, you could request that. They could, probably dispatch that too. Yeah, you guys can completely decide what sort of plan you want to recommend to them as well. Like anything you guys think is a shortcut or an advantage will all make differences to the plot and the narrative. But it's very freeform, so you guys can think of that as you will.
I think it sounds like a good plan. I'm ready to get the show on the road. Raven.
Oh, sorry, shut up.
Oh, no, I was just saying, Raven, if we can kind of figure out a way. I don't know. I mean, it's been sitting here for 25 years and no one's messed with it, so I don't know how much we have to do to make it look bad or make it look hidden.
Right, I close the lid.
I will say that if your plan is simply to leave it here, I think it will be very well undisturbed. At least in the time period you guys are looking to get at it. Considering that this place was just hit by the raiders the week prior, or specifically like 12 hours prior that they left, that you're very safe in that regard. Raiders aren't coming back here to scavenge any of that. If you were to leave this for an extended period of time, considering that life is coming back to Appalachia, maybe in that case, you would be a little bit more worried. But I think, honestly, the two of you looking around a lot, seeing how bad things are in, like shape-wise, maybe I think you two would feel pretty comfortable with it, especially for the next 24 hours.
All right. Let's check out this APC, Raven, and then let's head out.
This is a little exciting for me because, Sam, I feel like this maybe ties a little more into your backstory as well. So maybe you want to tell us as you're getting over there if you have any experience with APCs in this game, or I'm sorry, in the whole universe, like with your character's backstory, with the base and everything. Maybe you've experienced some of them. Maybe you've ridden in one. Maybe your time in the war. You tell us.
Oh, most definitely. Raven, I've been in a couple of these in Anchorage, dipping us back and forth like sardines in a can. There's definitely a couple ways to get in. There's the back, and then there's a porthole right here on top. This might be the easiest way because that back is probably super rusted. It's probably got a lot of hinges that would be super rusted. But if we get through here, we can get through the pilot seat and maybe crawl through the back.
With all let me spit this out very quickly, and then you can still color in some more details. With all of your knowledge about this vehicle, Sam, I would like you to roll a difficulty 1. We're going to make sure that the base trait is... Well, actually, you know what? We're going to be very flexible for this. Again, you can do base trait of intelligence or perception, and we'll go with either like repair or survival, whatever you'd like to roll for this. And what we're gauging is your knowledge with that rich experience you just described and whatever else you might want to add to it, that you would have a pretty good chance of diagnosing problems with this. Maybe you even had crash course training in diagnosing these sort of things, like emergency training, like what if it flips, how do you get out, sort of stuff.
All right. I know. I see some obvious rust on this hinge, and this is gonna have to come off. So I scrape it off a little bit, and I kind of pry it in between the base plate and the top part. And there's a special little way that you have to go back and forth with it. So I'll try that method.
I love it. Go for it. Roll away. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Sam has no problem, maybe even having experienced similar, again, issues that you troubleshot or fought with in the field. You have no problem prying this area open and getting to the guts of it here. What I'll also say, Sam, is that you recognize that this APC is in relatively great shape and might even be something that is somewhat salvageable or still working to a degree.
Yeah,
Sam, did this thing have gun that made kabooms? Maybe the gun still works.
Oh, for sure, it might be a little bit rusty, but it's entirely possible that we can get the mechanisms up and running again. I mean, these things were built to last. I'll kind of climb through, trying to deftly avoid all the like electronics, all the computer screens, and all of that. And kind of just trying to crawl through the back and get back to the storage. See if I can find anything in any of these crates or like any of there's probably like mounted cabinets and different types of lockers in there just to store various items.
Sam, as you're climbing through it, inspecting and looking at parts, you are rather impressed, knowing that this has been closed up and effectively isolated. Unlike other personnel carriers you may have run into in your travels from the Texas region up this way, that many of them are exposed to the elements, hatches left open, people caught truly in the middle of the bombs dropping, and thus nature retaking them or significant interior rust destroying them. What you see in here is effectively the just loose, almost dusty sediment at best, meaning like just the dust of time has caught up with it. And thus you think some parts might need to be torn out here and there, but most all looks superficial at best. Maybe some sort of kind of like rotted out plastic cabling or something like that. Some minor parts that have gone bad, but nothing you haven't found replacements for throughout the Wasteland, or nothing you couldn't go looking for in a short amount of time. As you're poking through here, again, really impressed. To Raven's question, Sam, you would know that this is loaded with a 105 millimeter cannon, and most support 2 additional miniguns. That if this would be operational, either stationarily operational, where it doesn't have its own movement, or whether you guys could get this thing fully operational, we could definitely do some more tests here to see if this thing has any oomph left in it. At this stage, my understanding is you have not really tried to boot it up, but if you'd like to, we could venture into the realm of piloting and all of that, but that's completely up to you. I'd also open it up and leave it open that if you want to do more diagnosis to any of it, you're welcome to try that as well. And you mentioned maybe lockers being in there. You could try looting for some goods in there as well. But I would say what you gather as well to my little narrative story, just playing off the map here and riffing, you, Sam, probably gather that this is all sealed up because the guys were outside. It looks like they may have been, hanging out, having eaten their rations or having a meal or whatever it is that they were. You see those skeletons outside. Maybe they resigned themselves to their fate, but no bodies in here. It looks rather clean too, in the sense that it's nothing's strewn out of cabinets. Nothing's torn apart. No signs of wildlife getting in. No rats or rad rats or anything like that chewing at the wires. But again, if you want to do more diagnosis with like repair and intelligence or perception or anything, that'd be acceptable too.
Raven, why don't we...
Maybe
why don't
we can
just
take
try-
it to haul the gen back if it works still. What do you think, Sam? Also, if the guns work, Hope would firepower.
That would be a incredible spectacle. Although I was never really trained to pilot these, I have an understanding about maybe how to turn it on and everything, but my piloting might not be too great on it. So let's try to see if it works first, and perhaps that we could put that on the table for sure. Raven, I need you to sit in the co-pilot chair, and then I need you to pull that red lever, and then there's an ignition switch to the right, and we got to do it at the same time, and then hopefully this thing will boot up.
Yes, sir. Red lever and switch got.
Considering you're...
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you want to ask your question first?
I was just going to say maybe like a repair intelligence.
This one might work. Yeah. You could absolutely. Oh well. Hold on. Sorry. Pardon me. Let me rewind that for 1 second. That could probably work as well. I think for you actually driving this forward, that would be a piloting and perception test, just so people know, because we've never touched that skill before. So piloting. That's the skill. And then the special will be perception for that. You're looking to turn it on with Raven's help. So you're offering up maybe repair and intelligence. I think that's fair. But I will let you also do that other one in case you're interested, Sam. I don't know if your piloting and perception's better than your repair and intelligence. But either of those two, I think, will work for this. And I'll let you both choose which of those two you want to roll. Sam, we'll have you lead the test since you're in the main seat by what you just said. And then Raven, as long as he succeeds in one, you can assist to succeed as well. Honestly, I feel like a difficulty 3 is probably a fair thing for this. It's in pristine shape, but it is aged 20-some years. So you also not having like the most intimate experience with driving it, I just want to call that out. Probably a difficulty 3 to turn this beast back on. Raven having no experience with it either herself that we know of, at least. And so if you guys want to spend action points at all, I'm just throwing that out there. You might want to do so. Just as, difficulty 3, however you want to roll with that. Or you can spend luck as well to recover any points. But again, the option stands, Sam and Raven. You can either do piloting and perception or repair and intelligence.
I will buy 1, and I will buy 1 AP, and I will spend 3 to get the 2 extra dice.
Yep. Castaway. 1. Okay. So Raven, you can go ahead and throw in your lot, Raven, and then Sam, if you want to swap-a-roo any of those with luck, that offer stands. Raven might come in clutch, though, in a second. So Raven, whatever you think is better, repair and intelligence or piloting and perception. Your perception might be high, Raven. Might means is, I think. Means I don't trust my brain. So she added 1 success to the roll there. So you're 1 short, Sam. You can use luck. She cannot.
I'll pay 2 to reroll 2.
If you want, I'm always a little selfish with these, or the opposite of whatever the word. You can do 1 at a time for luck. It's your choice. You can spend individually.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I have no idea what the rules say, but that's my way.
Okay, no dice.
Point number 2. And you can roll all 3 again if you want. It's a pretty fucking cool item. Oh, man. Come on! You got. I don't know if
it's
you
the same one.
I don't know if you have another point of luck, but you got 1 more die. You could re-roll.
I do. Now I have 1 left. Damn.
You give it your very best, and it teases you as many vehicles do, where it begins to come to life. You feel it begin to roar up. The engine begins to start. You can feel a shaking. But as they do, it begins to power down almost immediately. Leaving you...
Dear Mothman, please bless us.
Leaving you with a little bit of a mystery on your hands. You now have, and you can, by the way, this is open forum for you to do whatever the heck you want, but Sam has the strong idea that that was a good sign. It got further than one might expect. It's hardly a burnout husk, but it didn't, of course, do what you need. So whether you want to try to find more things to repair this, completely up to you. And maybe, honestly, Sam, I don't know if they would have repair parts on board that you might be aware of or anything to that effect. I just want to let you know now there's a little bit above board just to say that is a really cool piece of kit that has me very interested. I didn't really know, that we'd go into it per se. So just above board, I am really cool with you guys having that, and I really like that plan about how you could move the generator with it. Just as an above board, I'm just going to give this to you as part of your knowledge of this vehicle. You and Raven sitting there talking. This thing can hold a cargo of 500 pounds or 500 in weight in this game. It has the qualities of exposed and rugged. I don't know what that means. But it can travel 2 to 4, or I guess maximum of 40 miles per hour is what that looks like. And it can hold 6 passengers, including 2 additional, or not like including. So 6 passengers plus 2 more in power armor could fit inside of there. So it is a pretty beefy piece of kit. And if you want to fix it up, I think that's a really cool idea. You could rely on any of your friends, from the NPCs to Jim to whatever. And I'm again just trying to put people's like fears at ease here as well, that if you want to kind of box it up, seal it up, lock it up, you know, I don't think you have to really worry about people coming after it in a short order. There's still a minefield around it for the most part too. And if Raven's interested, she still has that mine. If she really wants to be extra about it, you could probably booby trap it.
You read my mind.
Sorry.
Dang it.
Sorry. Pardon me. I'll shut up. Back to you. Back to Sam and Raven.
Well, Raven, that was a good sign. It had some juice to it, so it's entirely possible that people smarter than us can get this working again. I think that we should put a pin in it for now. We might be able to lay that mine here and just attach it to that this hatch, and hopefully that'll keep anyone away from it. We could go back to Hope later after we go with our other plan. We'll get the generator back with the Brahmin, but we'll go back to Hope, see if Jim can do it. And if not, I mean, we do know that those free radical guys down at the wood station, they know what they're doing with these vehicles. So it's entirely possible that they may have an idea, and if we can make it lucrative for them, they might help us with it.
Okay, Sam, but the kaboom won't hurt it.
I think that we could hide it on the outside so it won't, I mean, it's a frag mine, so it's not gonna, hurt the outside of this whatsoever. We could probably hide it on the outside and then have it explode. We won't have to worry about putting it internally. But with the minefield outside, we may not have to worry about it too much. I kind of hop out the vehicle and I take a look over here and I say, you could honestly maybe just lay that mine back down and people may not be any of the wiser that it's disarmed. That might be the only precaution that we really need.
Even better.
Well, I'm ready to track back to the radio station if you are. We'll hit Rusty's on the way.
Yep.
Just for people at home, here's some pictures of the APCs here from the game, if you're a little unfamiliar. So here's their dual-mounted machine guns, I think, in the front. And there's the 105 millimeter cannon on the top. Real beast. It's got wheels to it instead of treads. You can see in the back there's quite a bit of storage space. In fact, I saw a picture I went right over that had they had a gurney in the back, and so you can imagine it's at least of that scale. Really neat, really cool. If you guys fix that up. Max says that I think there's a mod for Fallout 4 that lets you have one in game. That's so cool. That's so cool. Okay, listening to our comrades here, it sounds like the journey, you're actually going to stop over at Rusty's next, is what I heard. Sam, I have a question that I think I have the answer to as a GM, as someone that just looked at the Wikipedia page. Do APCs like that have radios in them, or would the soldiers have in the Fallout universe like a portable box style transmitter thing that they might set up? Like I've seen that in Fallout quite a bit. And so I'm asking Sam, the knowledgeable soldier here, that Yeah, would they have those internal, or is that sort of like an upgrade that you'd have to get in the future? Or, you know, again, were your crew more like sitting out those little metal rod antenna type of things, like almost like a lightning rod style?
I imagine that it would be a little bit of both. Like, I imagine that the people in the back would have to have what you're describing on, like, with the backpack, but they've probably also, because you can't fit something like that in the front, I imagine. It doesn't look like a very roomy space. I mean, it looks like the pilots are getting in from the top.
Yeah. That's
So I
fair.
imagine that it might have an internal one, but also you would have to have power for it, which puts in another roadblock.
Very solid point. I just wanted to ask about that. And I will say again, since radios are playing an important part in our series, if you guys ever want to look for specific things like that, like as an option, that would be cool upgrades to do to a vehicle or something. Like give yourself the ability to have two-way communication. I kind of like that as a mechanic, you know, just speaking above board. I think that's a really cool part of Fallout where like the Pip-Boys receive, but they don't transmit. And so getting the ability to communicate in real time with your town, I think should be sort of something special. And I think if you guys ever want to work for that, just again, knocking down any sort of rule book roadblocks, I think stuff like that's really cool. So that door is awaiting you if you ever choose to knock upon it. In fact, again, just to remind us, you're going back to Rusty's, Rusty Dusty Bones' farm. I love old Rusty, that he was trying to sell you guys a radio before. So if that's ever of interest in the future, you can make decisions on that. But I think it was 400 caps or something. It was a little bit up there in price. And that thing also has a bit of a carry weight to you guys, a backpack radio. So not exactly like Mac trying to haul back a generator, but a lesser version of that. I think that if you guys want to do like a backpack radio, you have all the advantages of being able to stay in communication 24/7, but whoever is hauling it either needs to be really strong or they're just going to have to sacrifice some of their inventory and their probably long-term travel distance, not short-term stuff. But I do think in very strong complication moments, if you were carrying like a radio like that on your back and you got like hurt with a lot of complications, there is always the chance, of course, that your backpack's going to take a little brunt of that too. Just facing realism as it might be. On that note, we are at 9:05 p.m., which is a perfect time for us to take our 10-minute break to get up, grab snacks, get a drink. We will regroup here in about 10 minutes on the nose. Do my crew members have any questions before we get up and do that? Sam, Raven, anything from you?
I'm ready to roll.
Okie dokie. Max says, turns out I have the mod installed. I'd like to see that later, some other day. Let's stream it. Let's see you play. She's going to do the Fallout 4 with a armored personnel carrier, if I can speak. But just because I can't speak, let's go ahead and run the BRB screen right now. And I'm going to also look in my rule book so I can find that damn rule I was referencing. It's driving me mad. See you all in 10 minutes. Okay, comrades, we are back. We are ready. Well, at least I am here. Do we have Sky in chat? Do we have a Raven here?
I am present. Hello. Welcome back.
Hello. We will wait to see if we get any response from Raven. She's probably just coming back to the PC any second now. On that note, I can try to find some sound effects that I wanted from our little Kenku bot. There we go. We'll put some Appalachian wind behind us. Let me go ahead and pull up the scene too. There we go. Just to tell the audience and Sam, since they're both here, that this is going to be a fairly easy trek back to Rusty's farm. I don't think you guys need to roll on anything. A night has passed. You know, just for the hell of it, I'm going to make Raven roll that perception survival, as we always do, just for the keeping it consistent. But it's a very short journey. I think this is going to take, what do we say? think that's something like a 4-hour trek for most people. So for her, it's like maybe 2 hours. It's about that. We'll see what her roll nets out to. But not a too far of a journey, especially for you guys who have taken this road quite a lot. So she's got an easy roll up ahead of her. Unless she rolls a
Yep, I'm
complication.
here. Just was watching Copper Howard New Est work.
Oh. There you go, Raven. There you go. Well, now that you're here, it's time for you to get to work. You need to roll a perception and survival test for us to make your way to Rusty's farm. For all of this is going to be difficulty 1, so anything you generate, there you go. Extra point back into the pool. Very easy travel as we anticipated. You guys take about, we'll say 2 to 3 hours to get there. I don't know what to... We're really not working too heavily on time today. Everything in this game's a little loosey-goosey, and that way we didn't even pick what time you woke up in the morning. But if it sounds okay to all of you, say you spent a couple hours doing that and getting things together, you went through the APC, maybe you had some snacks out of your bag in the morning. I'll say you get there about noon, if that's reasonable. What do you say?
Did our luck rest?
Since you left Hope, no. It'd probably be about every time you guys get a good, solid rest at Hope. Will be pretty much the way we do that. If you guys rest somewhere very safe and comfortable, like that would also mean like Foundation or something like Crater, anywhere that you're really safe is how we're going to approximately do that. It's kind of a loose...
Seem fair.
Yeah, it's kind of a loose roll anyway. I think the guidebook says that you do it like per scene, which could mean once per night, but when they're talking scenes, I think they're often talking more like doing dungeon delves. You guys aren't necessarily doing dungeon delves per se. How is everyone's luck though? Are you out of luck points? A rest at Rusty's could potentially get your luck back too if you guys are planning on spending the night there. If you're about out.
I've got 1 left after all of that.
How many do you
I
usually...
have 3.
How many does Sam usually have? What's your luck score?
7.
God, wow. What did you spend your other luck on? Was that from last time, maybe? You spent, 3 there, I think?
Yes. I think it was from rolling other stuff previously.
Yeah. Hopefully you reset it last time you were in Hope. I didn't make a big stink about that, so thank you for reminding me anytime you do. Yeah, like I mentioned, we'll kind of roll that like we do with the +2 maximum HP, that whenever you get a good, solid rest, it's safe, all those boundaries. But I will say one other thing. There is an exception with the luck roll, maybe, is... I don't know that we'll ever say you get luck back sleeping out like at a random quick encampment that you guys make. You can make those comfortable enough to get your +2 maximum HP, technically, but I think the luck is reserved for like a good safe town that you make or stay at. So with that being said, I'll keep that in mind. Ask me again about the luck whenever we get back to Hope or to Rusty's. If you guys decide to camp out there or anything like that. Jam, great to see you. Hello, welcome aboard. Raven, you rolled your test. You have a clear path ahead. Hopefully you added your extra action point back into your pool, and you guys make your way to Rusty's. If you guys want to veer off and do anything, that's fine too, but the ETA was you'll get there about noon, so your decision. Otherwise, dive on into it as I pull them up here on the screen for folks.
I say we take a straight shot there.
The road's pretty calm, pretty casual. As you're getting up to the farm, one thing you notice as you guys are pulling up the street, where's Rusty's farm? Let me get this up before I get to too much of this. Where'd he go? Rusty, my man, where are you? Oh, his farm's gone. That's the first thing you notice. His farm is gone. I'm just kidding. Here we go. There's just a crater where his farm used to be. How scary would that be? My goodness. Okay. The first thing you guys notice as you're getting up the street here, you're taking that path. You're going up north, and you're turning at the bend that heads up the long path to the mountain. But at the very base of that path, you see that ever so familiar farmhouse over on the side, rusty, dusty bones. And as you're getting closer to it, Raven, with your exceptional eyesight and perception, you see that milling around outside the front of his house are a couple guys that look similar to the raiders you met before. The ones that you saw at the post that had been guarding the path sort of between you and Rusty in the past. You teased them the idea of going to work for Rusty. You mentioned that, that might be something of interest to them. So I'm just plopping down some icons here on the porch for you. I don't know that we actually named any of these raiders before, so if you do remember names, I'll dig them out of the thing. But I don't know that it got that cordial. They were pretty open-minded to you guys in the past, so we can assume something similar today. Okay, there you go. Pardon me. This scene needs a little bit of cleanup here. Lena's not here. Let's get her out of there.
Hello, boys.
Let me move your icon just real quick, and we'll take poor Jim out of here. He's not here. Move this guy back. Okay, there we go. So Raven goes up. She begins, "Hello, boys," with her vocabulator. And they look up, sort of already a little bit astute and a little bit scouting is maybe what they're tasked with doing. But instead, they're kind of posted up, almost like beers and burgers, sort of, with the grill here. They got some food and are sort of just casually chatting. And they see they both sort of stand to attention. They do have their weapons at their sides, but quickly realizing who you are, and also realizing that you're the one that sort of brought them some of this modern comfort. "Hey, hi, how you doing? Great to see you again. Wow, I didn't think we catch up with you so soon."
How's it going, fellas? Good to see you. We just needed to ask Rusky if we could use his radio real quick.
"Oh, not here to shop today, huh? This place is pretty packed full of good stuff. We've been kicking back here the last couple days. The guy said we could have a job guarding it as long as we're staying around armed, and a few extra tasks that we're welcome to stay. This is a pretty good side gig versus what we were doing before."
He got you fixing the hole in his wall?
"We've got it patched. He says that he's not such a fan of our style. The old slap some metal on it and put some barbed wire around it. But we're trying. We're learning."
Well, hopefully that'll keep any nasty critters out of there.
"Yeah, he told us about the wolves. In fact, our buddy there is helping bury some of them now. They saw what's left of the carcasses. I guess you all had quite the adventure here. But also to let you know, yeah, Rusty's inside. He'd probably let you use the radio if you're in a hurry."
Oh, we appreciate the info. We'll go talk to him real quick if you don't mind.
"Absolutely. We'll get back to guarding." And they look down at their sort of food, that's sort of sat on a little table, propped up something rather on the side, little egg crate type of deal, milk crate. As you go in there, you can see Rusty. He is kicked back in his chair, legs up on the coffee table as he is flipping through a clipboard ledger. He's looking through some sheets and passing it over. And as you come through the door, he glances up. "Ah, Sam, my man, hey, what brings you back into town so soon?" "Well, to my humble little farm. It's feeling like a town now. You got all these guests."
Oh, for sure. Are you enjoying their stay here?
"It is very lucrative, I gotta say. Having you and your friends around clearing out all the things that go bump in the night, I got a little accustomed. I'll be honest. I got a little accustomed to having people around. And I told you, the guys from the free radicals, they're not bad fellas. They just needed a sort of structure of sorts. You know, we actually got done with a trade route recently. And I got that call from Hope as well. So we're queued up. We could be making our way up to your town pretty soon. I'd say the Brahmin need maybe a day or so of rest, give or take. I mean, you know, they're animals after all. So, but once they rest up, I got some supplies to take up your way. If you don't know if you're sticking around, you could escort them, maybe. I don't know who all we're sending. I was thinking of going myself and leaving some of the guys here, or I could stay and send them, or I could. He flips back through his list, sort of concerned mostly of he's sort of a one-man enterprise, and with these raiders being new and him having some trust in you, he's weighing his options as to like what guarantees him the safest passage for his cargo. Does he defend his house, or does he trust the new raiders to do that? He's had good exchanges with them in the past, and doesn't he kind of sees them, based on your past conversations especially, as sort of young and just naive more than malicious. These are not like the gourmands who are like eating people, but more so young peoples that are looking for work, especially.
Well, we're planning on having that. We're planning on having. So, I needed to use your radio because I need to call some people in Hope.
Okay.
Try to get a caravan moving towards the Red Rocket station that's down south of here.
The Red
What
Rockets.
I'm thinking is that maybe we could, join the two caravans at the intersection down the road, and we can funny back to Hope.
So you're sending someone. Well, that's not a bad idea. Two caravans are better than one, as they say. What are you doing at the Red Rocket station? That place is a mined-out hellhole. Last time I was there, that's why I stay here, right here, safest spot in the world.
The rest of their free radical buddies, they cleared out most of the mines out there. We just got some pretty heavy equipment that we need hauling back.
The radio's yours. Go for it, Sam. Mikasa, Sukasa, all that good stuff. Make yourself at home. I miss your robot, though. You didn't happen to bring Alfred back around to whip us up some food, did you? He out there?
He's getting some work done at Hope.
Well, next time, bring the chef. He'll be much welcome. I think you see Rusty. He likes the attention after all. He sort of thrives off of people coming through and being random elements in his life. And what you've gathered as well with him, even with that just recent exchange with the raider out front, he really likes to present this very clean home aesthetic in the Wasteland. That's kind of his thing. Collecting a little bit of paradise or something like that. His house is, of course, much better attended to than what you find out there. And that, again, based on conversations, this is more even for the Twitch audience and podcast listeners at home, that what was sort of established before is that Rusty collects a lot of things. That's sort of why he's in a trades business at all, meaning a trading goods business, mercantile business, that he's shifting items around largely because he's a bit of a collector himself. Also, last time presented you with that chest full of legendary items that he offered up. So he's got his hands on some interesting goods, and he, as promised before, will look for things too if you're ever interested, like him hunting something down for you. It's your kind of insight, Sam.
Well, Rusty, I will go radio Hope. We're going to head to that radio tower. We can be back here tonight. And they should take about 18 hours to get to that Red Rocket, which puts them about at that intersection this time tomorrow. So if you want to try to meet up with them, we'll be heading out to meet them there. But we can all meet up around this time tomorrow.
Well, seems reasonable to me. Let me know what you're doing on the way out the door. Just let me know for sure where I should be and when I should go. Like I said, the Brahmin will rest. I'll get my things sorted here. I'll decide on who's coming and going. But yeah, just give me a parting word so I know the plan. Good luck up there, wherever you're doing back at that station. I guess you said you might be. Are you guys setting up that fortification up there? You mentioned that there might be more people going that way. I haven't seen any yet. No one from Hope.
We might see what we can do, but I got some stuff that I need to get checked out over there. Got some samples that I need to see if there's any lab equipment over there that I can use.
A lab. Microscopes are a little bit rare in these parts. Well, anyway, make your call. Do your thing. I'll be here.
We'll be back here tonight, Rusty, hopefully. And we'll make the plan from there.
Sounds good to me.
Mr. Rusty, I could cook you something. You have any fresh roadkill?
Fresh roadkill? No. But you could go hunting if you're looking for. I mean, there's probably stuff in the woods. It'll take you time, though. There's probably some fresh veg. Do you wanna try and make something? You could do that, by the way, Raven, if you want.
Okay, free potatoes.
Sorry, so do you want to go out to the garden and try and harvest some of those? We'll say this is going on while Sam is heading in to make the call on the radio. Okay, so let's see. I have a little button here that lets me do the foraging test thing. I think this is just going to give me a random item. What is foraging again? Perception and survival. I think it's really basic. It is perception plus survival. And it usually takes about an hour, but you're not raw foraging in the woods. You're just looking through his garden outside. You said you're looking for potatoes. You could absolutely do that. Absolutely do that. You hear some shooting out there in the distance. It might be those guys. They might be shooting at some animal, like game. Pew, pew. Or maybe it's something else off in the distance. 3 successes. That's excellent. I think this was a difficulty 0 test at that. Let me check. Test with a difficulty of 1. So you get 2 back to the pole, Mac. And you find a number of items equal to your survival score plus any AP you want to spend. So I'm going to assume you don't want to spend AP, which you would find 6 potatoes in the garden growing out there. 6 potatoes. If you do want to spend your AP on that, you could. You could add more. Now, let's see, can Kyle navigate the book fast enough? I saw it earlier. Nope, that's definitely the wrong one. I don't want to open that up. Tato. I, on accident earlier, found the crafting recipes, and we know I'm not going to be able to find them again because... Oh, no, I did. I got them. Okay. Raven, you would know that you could make Tato juice out of this. Potatoes, carrots, and dirty water make a vegetable soup. That's a common... These are, by the way, the ones I'm calling out, these are considered common recipes. So I think the rule dictates that like almost everyone would know that. And this is based on your survival skill. I think the complexity here I'm seeing on this table might be based on your difficulty that it sets up. So I just need to check on that briefly just to make sure I'm not speaking out of my butt and misleading you.
Now to make Mom Tato's soup.
Tato soup. Would you like to go ahead and do you want to make anything fancy with that? Meaning, do you actually want to cook those up or do anything like that? Oh, wow. I see the rule here. Sorry, this might copy and paste weird into chat. When attempting to craft an item, it requires a skill test using your intelligence plus the listed skill, survival. So in survival. This test is equal to the recipe's complexity minus your rank in the skill to a minimum of 0. I think you got like a 6. So I don't think anything combats that. So your test would be 0 difficulty. If the final is 0, you can choose to succeed without rolling. Crafting an item takes an hour, halved by spending AP. That's about fair. It will take you maybe an hour to cook this stuff up if you'd like. You could spend AP if you want to cook it faster, though. I will allow that for sure.
Yeah, I will make some soup for everyone.
Okay. Can you do me one more roll then? You just need to decide or see how many things of, I think it was carrots you're doing for that. Let me see what that one is. Close some of these duplicate books. Okay. Vegetable soup was 1 carrot, 1 potato, 1 dirty water. Oh, great. 4 successes. Wow. Go ahead and put 3 action points back in the pool on that one. And it's based on your survival skill, we said, was a foraging. Survival score. Okay, so 6. Great. So you got 1 to 1 on that. Perfect. So 6 more out of the garden. Again, she's harvesting all of this while Sam goes in and starts up that call. Raven, you can get to cooking here. We'll go ahead and just complete this roll and then we'll go and sort over what Sam's gonna do. No problem getting your hands on any dirty water. The complexity of this is a 3, but you reduce it by 6 to a 0. So you're going to be able to make 6 vegetable soups here, Raven. And you don't need to roll, but you could if you wanna try and get any more action points. It is +2 radiation damage resistance until the end of the next scene is the benefit from this. Damn, that's really cool, Raven. That's a cool use of some stuff. Jammed in chat earlier. I'm so sorry I didn't read chat. I'm so focused when I'm DMing here. I recently lost my D&D team, and I'm bummed about it. Love that I can get a D&D fix here. Good, Jam! This is our Fallout TTRPG, so I hope you enjoy it. Playing a psionic goblin. Ooh, that sounds cool. 0 people skills. Just fumbling your way through life. I love it. I love it.
Mr. Rusty, I will make you soup for you and the boys.
Oh, well, hey, Raven, look at that. Oh, well, vegetable soup, putting my garden to good use. I like to see it. How much can you spare for me and the guys? Well, 1 each. If you do 1 each, I think you're pocketing 1. Sam will get 1. Raven will get 1. Spare 1. Oh, no, I miscounted. No spare 1. It'd just be 1 for everybody here. 1 each, says Raven. Yep. Sam, Raven, Rusty, and 3 raiders. 6. That's the whole lot of them. Okay, wonderful. You pass that out. I don't know, you're crafting all this. Sam, we'll flip to you now. A little bit of tiny momentary time lapse here while she's out there gardening. You go into the barn. I'll flip over your way here. There is the other raider. You can see him in there. He's sort of sharpening some tools over there on the bench when you get in. He says, "Oh, hey, Sam, we met you back up on the road, huh? Good to see you here. How are you? What are you doing here?"
Good to see you again, friend. We're here trying to get this radio. Just use it real quick to message Hope. How have you been holding up here?
Oh, well, I mean, we've been here 24, 48 hours. I don't know. It's hard to keep the tab on time in the Wasteland, but Rusty's a good dude. We never had problems with him in the past, but the fact that he's letting us stay in these parts... though I'm a little bit tired of burying dead carcasses, and you guys might have something to do with that. He's having us clean up a little bit of a mess around these parts. The place could use some TLC. Probably more than one man, one ghoul could do on his own.
Well, I'm glad that you are able to help him out. And I hope that it's treating you all well for sure.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what time goes on here. Winter's coming around the corner, so good, not a bad place to stay. Get all the crops we can get here, get all the food, and who knows, if he doesn't want a winter down here, maybe he can come on back with us to the lumber mill. Good place down there, too.
Good to see that you guys have options. I might head to Lumberville myself at some point, check out everyone there, see how everyone's doing.
Now, if you ever go down that way, you could tell him Chevron sent you. That's sort of a code word for our group up this way. They'll know.
Great. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, the radio's over there, by the way.
Nice to officially meet you, Chevron.
Yeah, no problem. Good to meet you, too. Glad to have you here.
And with that, I will head over to the radio and put a contact into Hope.
Okay, you're calling up to Hope. As you pick up and you dial into the radio station, associated with the town. And the first thing you hear is they sort of have the channel has like momentary alerts that come over it, sort of just not number. I guess it kind of maybe almost like a number station sort of thing. Like it's just got some like patterns in there to kind of like let people know the station's still active. And as Sam, you click it and try and message through in that way, you get a signal back. Hello, you've reached out to Hope. This is Alfred. How may I direct your call?
Alfred. It's Sam.
Oh, Sam! Wonderful to hear from you. Where are you?
We're at Rusty's place. Listen, I need to talk to Tom if he's not busy.
Oh, well, Rusty's place. Well, I hope that I'll get to go there soon. Oh, Tom, there's a call for you. It's probably urgent. It's Sam. They're at an adventure down at Rusty's farm. Did I ever tell you about the time that I was at Rusty's farm and we were cooking in the kitchen and then we were attacked by wolves? I don't know if I had the chance to tell you. And you hear Tom go, yeah, you save that story. Come back to that later. Circle back. Sam, that you?
Yeah, Tom, it's me.
Hey.
How's it going?
Things are good up here. Alfred here. He's quite the talker. He says you're down at Rusty's farm is what I gather from that story. What can we do for you? Things okay?
Oh, things are great. We hit this red rocket station down south of here, and we found big pieces that from one of these cars. We could potentially use it to make a generator, but I got to tell you, it's super, super heavy. So I was wondering if you could send down Terry. Maybe he could send down some of his Brahmin and a couple of people to help us lug it back there.
Ooh, let's see. Okay, Terry. He's making a note here. Terry, take a Brahmin. Okay, we can. They're last assigned. They're doing some hauling of supplies around the town. Not a problem. We can. Let's see. Who do we got here? Let's probably send a guard or two on the way down. What do you think, Sam? You know these routes better than I do. I haven't been down the road in quite some time, but what do you say for guarding Terry and the crew?
I'd say we need a couple guards because I'm thinking that we'll have Rusty should be on his way by the time that y'all get here. By the time that everyone gets here and we're ready to head out, Rusty should be on his way. So maybe we can meet up with him and we can also guard his caravan on the way back.
Oh, that's a hell of a good plan, Sam. I like that. Okay, you go get that organized. Or you get your side set up. Do what you're gonna do. And I'll get in touch with Terry. I'll let him know everything I got written down. What's the timing on this again? When you're going to the radio tower?
Yes, we're heading to the radio tower. I'm thinking it's going to take about 18 hours for everyone to get from Hope to the Red Rocket. So by the time y'all get there, we should be able to get back to you.
Okay. No, not a problem. That sounds like a good plan.
One more thing. We found a pretty amazing piece of tech here, my friend. We found an APC, an old military vehicle. Now, it's not completely dead, which is the exciting thing. So we'll have to figure out if we can get some people. Maybe Jen can come back here when he's feeling better, and we can get to work on it. Bring it back up there. That'd be an amazing piece of technology to have up at Hope.
You think this thing's functional enough to cart up this way?
I think it's possible we could get it there. I mean, we almost got it started.
Okay. You know, so your plans, you're gonna Brahmin down. You guys are gonna meet up, and you're coming back down later for the APC later. Lena might be interested in helping out too. She's very into that sort of stuff. She might be able to help out as well, just to toss out a name. But it's all up to you, Sam. Whatever you think is best. She might go down with the caravan if you want.
Most definitely. I was going to suggest maybe if she wants to take a look at it, by all means, we'll be at the Red Rocket waiting.
Okay. Good plan, man. We'll see you then. I'll get this information relayed. If you need anything, or you got anything else to convey, let me know before this chatterbox gets back on the line.
That'll be all, Tom. Hopefully we'll see you with a generator piece in hand soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Over and out. Cool. I'm confused on the time because I'm bad with time. This is Kyle, the overseer, speaking and saying, we are at like 2 p.m. right now, about. It'll take you guys, we say 4 hours to get up to the radio tower from here. I need to look at the map. I'm the guy that should know, but but honestly, with Mac's perk that she has, which is a very good one, my brain gets all kinds of like, I start to lose track of like, what's the original distance? I think what I'll do is make us a map that has some like map key sort of distances attached to the roads. That way we can just flip over to that tactical map pretty quickly in the future so that my brain's not mush. Not that timing is super important in this game. We play pretty flexibly. But looking at going from Rusty's, I always think 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 with Max. So 2, 4. I think it takes about 6 hours from Rusty's to get to the top of the hill, the radio station. It's a decent path up there. I think last time with the Wendigo, you guys trekked out about 4 hours. So that would be correct because the Wendigo was closer. So about a 6-hour trip up the mountain is what you're looking at ahead of you, if that's good for you too.
That works. So it'd be 6 there, 6 back.
Yeah.
And then how many back to the Red Rocket?
Okay. So 6... So we're adding 6 to go up there, which will put us about 7 p.m. And then another 6 on top of that. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1. what do we say? So to get the whole way back down to Rusty's, 6 hours back. Oh, wait, that's calculated in. So to go from Rusty's to there, I think we say that's about 4 hours on that road. So the time is 6 plus 6 plus 4. We'll get you there. 16 hours? I think you're looking at about 16 hours of travel.
That sounds good, and then we can just chill for... I mean, we'll probably talk to Modus for a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. We can yada yada it no matter what. I mean, I don't know how you want to do it, but just if we could get back to them, like in just with what we're doing, if we could be back at the same time that they get there.
Perfect. That's the plan. You guys can make that accordingly. No worries. In the sake of expedited travel today, so you can explore a little bit more and get further with that. We'll continue with Raven having cleared sort of the check for the travel earlier. She's very specced into clearing the path, if you will. She's got a very good traveler's sense to her. And with her great roll earlier, you find that, again, having been here within about the past 5 days or so, maybe 6 days, this is not a very reoccupied path by any stretch. Though I will say there is a certain sense of unease as you travel into these very distant parts. Maybe not unease for Raven, who's so versed in it, but maybe a little bit for Sam. I don't know. It's just that these are the parts that are the most distant. If you needed anything, help or otherwise, you're just far from the beaten path. For our people at home, they are traveling again from Rusty's farm on the map over eastwards towards the radio tower, which just takes them up in more precarious areas. I'm going to put a map ping right here. That is the area of the Wendigos cave. It was a little bit off to the side there. I need to get that set up in our next map that I'll upload. But yeah, you make your way up to the tower. I will pop that up on the screen so people can kind of see what this looks like. Raven, I'm assuming you're kind of leading just maybe a little bit in this trek, always just seeing a little over the horizon. And as you make your way up, a familiar sight comes into view. Whoops, let's see if it'll move it for us. There we go. And this time you are coming up the road, I'm guessing here, which will put you all in this sort of corner. Coming up that driveway path. I guess I can get rid of Mr. Handy and Amelia. They're not here. And neither is Jim. Jim! Goodbye, Jim. So as you get here, this is the radio tower they inspected before. I think this actually was earlier than our Let's Play began on YouTube. I think it preceded it by a week. So the area was occupied with a couple booby traps and turrets, which they had neutralized. The one large notable thing was that you guys had, I believe, blown a hole in the wall. That there was this crack, and I want to say that was destroyed maybe with a grenade. But a hole was formed, and that was how you were going in and out. Your first thing you notice, Raven, is that hole is patched with what looks like fresh concrete. Well, fresh set, but still fresh to the elements. So you guys can make your way over. There is the terminal that is still active and lit, though, just so you guys aren't bashing your head against the wall. If you want to try...
Sam, the tower, we made it. The hole is gone. How do we get in?
We can try the terminal. I mean, maybe he'll see that someone is out here trying to get in, and he might check it out and know it's us.
You go up to the terminal. It has a simple, like a standby screen style message on it. Open prompt if you want to write anything in there. Very nondescript message on the front. If anything, overly nondescript.
I would just type in hello.
You have that moment where you wait and wait. And right before you're ready to look over your shoulder to Raven as if it didn't work, a simple hello pops back on the screen.
I will type in, if you're reaching me, Modus, this is Sam Houston, and hit enter.
You wait just a moment longer as the door depressurizes almost. Having not opened the last time you were here, a little less of a depressurization as it is dust, debris kind of coming off of it as it opens outwards towards you, very much in the style of like a heavy cement blast door. Well enough on hinges that, you know, people could easily do this should they need to open it manually, that is to say. But again, keeping with its bunker style, now it is popped open for you to enter in.
I wearily take a few steps in.
As you do, you hear over the speakers in here, Samuel, welcome. I did not expect to see you so soon.
Hello, Modus. Something came up, and I thought I could come and, if you were willing, collect a favor from earlier.
I would be delighted to be of assistance. I see Raven is still alive and well. That pleases me. What service could I yield for you today?
I reach into my bag and I pull out the vial of the donut sample that I've got, and I pull out the blood sample that I took. And I tell him, we found this inside Hope. It's some sort of pre-war, just food paste, but it's causing severe symptoms in anyone who's eating it. It's almost like a rapid ghoulification, feral ghoulification, but it's slightly different. I mean, the skin doesn't fall off the same. It's turning their veins pink. It's making them irrational and angry, much like feral ghoulification. But we can't get to the bottom of it, and a lot of people have been eating it. And if there's more of it out in the Wasteland, we want to try to cure it.
I'm not sure how I can be of assistance to you in such an endeavor. You wish me to analyze these samples for you?
If you have anything here. I mean, I know that Jim, he went down there. I don't know if there's anything, in a centrifuge or something that you could check and maybe just give us an idea about what this stuff is.
This facility is ill-equipped compared to my previous locations. I have only recently been able to allocate resources to re-enabling this bunker. It is not nearly as equipped as a full vault shelter. But there may be some scavengeable parts if you're interested. My companions here have been helping me clear out various dilapidated sections, areas that were no longer accessible. If you're interested in taking a tour of the facility, my resources are always available to you.
We are also looking for a microscope, but let me ask you something. So, do you think a vault would have something like that we could use?
Most vaults that I am aware of do contain laboratories, some larger than others, most with at minimum a medical bay, and most stocked with a reasonable supply of pre-war technology. Again, some vaults have reputations of larger medical experimentation. This facility here can replicate items. Fabrication is possible. Something like a microscope is possible. In fact, I am detecting we have one microscope in storage in our server room. If you would like to retrieve it, the option, the door, awaits you.
That would be much appreciated. And the information that you give us might just help us anyway. I turn to Mac and I say, luckily we did just meet a vault dweller.
Is your plan to go down there then? I'm sorry for even starting.
Yes, while I'm waiting.
Hello, Morbus, how so we can enter a vault, Sam?
Do you want to call him Morbus? Do you want to? Are you? That might very well be a typo, but do you want to call him Morbus, or do you want to call him his real name, which is Modus? Hey, that's your
Morbus.
How does Modus respond? I see, Raven, you're struggling to adapt to certain elements of the Wasteland, or maybe I should say more particularly, maybe being around such technology. Have no fear, you're still welcome here. However, I would correct you, my name is Modus. One second here, Raven. He continues. It stands for Multi-Operation Directions and Utility System. I am not a Morbus unit. Nor do I know what a Morbus unit is.
You'll have to forgive her.
Yeah, this all new to me. Modus, not Morbus.
That's right. A quick learner.
She's also getting used to that vocabulary as well.
A sensible precaution in the Wasteland. What a useful device. There used to be one listed in the inventory here, but it seems to have gone off.
Yeah, it's been a lot of time. People to come in and out. I'll be getting that microscope and we'll be out of your hair. We truly appreciate the help.
You're very welcome. Follow the Mr. I guess it's Colonel Gutsy. Follow the Colonel Gutsy as he leads your way. By the way, thank you for the raid that came in just now. My map got weird and people were in different spots. I refreshed it. I hope everyone's like in a reasonable, their token on their screen, I hope is Wait, it changed the whole map to an older version. Where'd the... There we go. Sorry about that. That was, if you saw that, it was a rough draft. And if you didn't, meh. It's nowhere now. Thank you for the raid, Ferg. I appreciate it. Okay, so everyone's back in here. Great. So the Colonel Gutsy, Mr. Gutsy, as you will, leads you over to the what looks like a charging station in the room. This is what Jim went down before. You hear the very traditional Fallout sound where it goes, and the doors slide open as it looks like a pretty traditional charging station for a Protectron. Although this is one of the full metal sheeted ones on the sides instead of the glass pod. As you step into it, it is a little more spacious than one might expect. That about it's spacious enough that the Mr. Handy and one of you can go down at a time. Sam, are you leading the pack? You're just going to go down there first? You guys are going to get there at the same time well enough. And as you go down, Raven, you see those doors slam shut behind Sam as he goes down, and you hear it kind of come to a stop, Raven. You hear the of the system as it comes back up and pops open for you. Sam, you find yourself in a hallway here with Gutsy with you as well. Let me put him in here. There he is. Oh, they added more Gutsies. And they gave him some icons too now. Great. So he pops in with you. Show. Okay. And you are in a lobby here. He begins to lead you down this pathway. But as you get to see it, chat, there is... it's very dim lighting in here, just to be clear. There's little lamps and little wall sconces, but the lighting is overall very, very dull. This is sort of what Jim noted before. It was very dark in here. There's sort of hallways that you're coming up to that sort of begin to trail off. But as you're approaching this center area, which you can see and make out to be an intersection, up ahead of you is a wall of computer terminals here. So let's walk the chat through it. So they go in straight on, very dark, very dark, very dark. And as you get to this section, you're greeted by the face of Modus, who I will put up here on the screen for everyone so you can see. You're greeted by Modus's face as he pops onto the screens and says, I'm glad you've made your way down safely. You are the second and third visitor into this place in over 25 years, at least. You'll find the room you're looking for to your left.
I appreciate you letting us in, and thank you for the help, Modus.
The Colonel Gutsy goes on and begins to lead down this path here. Let me... There's not like huge secrets. People on the stream, you can see maybe a little bit more than what they can on their alchemy side, just as a heads up. But it's not much. He leads you down this room. I'm just trying to clear all this fog for everyone. Let's see, erase this. This is a pretty simple end of the hallway here by the looks of it. There is another dispatching station. You may remember that Jim mentioned that there were a lot of robots down here that kind of came over whenever they sort of just politely or maybe even a little ominously escorted him through this facility. Ominous in that it was dark and spooky, sort of. So let me do the other map for people right now. Raven, are you going up just to the Modus system? You can do that. You're welcome to it. Sam, you're led into this room by the Gutsy. And whenever you step in, it is a very, again, dark lit room. There are computer terminals all over. Very untouched. Let's zoom in for people. Very untouched room. It looks like there was some life here, some cigarette butts and some ashtrays around, but not much. Mostly empty, untouched, or unadjusted desks here. As you begin to step into this room, Sam, all of the terminals in sort of rapid succession all flip to that blue glow of Modus's face all at once through every terminal in the room. And he goes, "Yes, Samuel, this is the correct room. You can find it here. It's listed in the registry as being on one of the shelves, possibly to the left or right of my terminal. But it is a little bit tricky for me to see, as you may say." There is...
I think I see it over here.
Yes, there is a microscope sitting out on the tabletop over there, Sam. You are correct.
I take a moment to take it all in, right? And I just think about this. I think about the fact that it's obvious the government spent millions of dollars on this facility, but yet there's no one here. And that it just seems to have just gone to complete waste, despite all the money they put into it, and potentially how many places like this around the Wasteland are there, where it was just millions of dollars that went to nothing.
A very astute thought. And you know what? Using, Sam, the kind of trinket system in the game, good narration for that, you get a luck point back. That is a thing we have not really utilized. I don't know how many characters actually have a formal trinket anymore. We haven't talked about that in quite some time. But if you guys decide to dwell on an item like this, or, have a moment for yourself lore-wise, you can get a luck point back for yourselves. So,
I grab the microscope and I say my final thank yous to Modus, and I try to meet back up with Raven.
Very good, he says. I'm glad you've got what you came here for, Sam. If you need, there is another room with other fabrication abilities should you need any sustenance before your journey.
Oh, well, we'll have to look at it. I much appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Always here to help.
Will the Gutsy guide me there?
Yeah, it is just straight across the way here that he leads you to a fabrication room, which is basically a big old workshop, and it's got food dispensers. It's got a working Nuka-Cola machine in the corner. As you look around, I think probably, if anything, Sam's mind is maybe a bit taken aback by how much pre-war splendor just sits in the equivalent of a storeroom, a spare room. There are shelves stocked with tools. There are boxes of Abraxo, of glue, of all kinds of goodies, tape. You might even recognize a power armor stand sitting there, untouched, unedited, unadjusted. And in the corner, almost awkwardly placed, not much surrounding it, is one of the terminals that Modus has been using to talk with you. And again, his blue face flashes up on the screen. As I've mentioned before, Samuel, we have the ability here to furnish quite a good amount of supplies. Though this facility the more we fabricate, the more power we use. You, pardon me, above board, you guys gave him the fusion core last time. Is that right?
Yes.
With the core you gave, we are able to reinitialize many of the systems here that have gone offline. However, mass fabrication would require mass power, which maybe you can assist me with that.
I wouldn't mind assisting you with it if it means we get access to the place like this.
He thinks out. He actually vocalizes, Appalachia was known for having many useful nuclear power stations that have dilapidated over the years. My other place of residence, when I'm not here, has significant power reserves. This facility does not. Your question about vaults earlier, many of them have fusion reactors at a large scale. This facility features one large fusion reactor upstairs that you passed by to come here, but only one additional unit for below. And when it comes to fabrication, that is a significant draw. Too much for what limited resources they had. Clearly, this place was not completed in its entirety. And that leaves me slightly annoyed with the limitations of what I can yield.
I know of a Poseidon energy plant. I've seen it on the map quite a ways down south here. I think it's near what people around here call the ash heap. Is there any way that we could connect that to you? Or even other parts of the Wasteland?
As you propose this idea, Sam, his face on the screen changes. For those watching at home, you can see it pulled up here on the side. He goes from a neutral face that he's been talking with to a wide grin, what almost looks a little monstrous in its artificial smile. Well, Samuel, that would be quite the advantageous move, quite the adventure. You know, I've helped route some of your friends' calls through this station. It seems like they have expressed an interest in reestablishing certain supply chains and lines across Appalachia. Talk of rail lines. If you are intending to reconnect power lines as well, it seems you may be able to recruit more help from your friends.
I can imagine that could be beneficial to many different areas around here. It wouldn't be too bad of an idea to try to knock out both at the same time.
On that note, I want to check in with Raven really quickly. She's over here at the other station. So I also want to read out what she said. She said, wow, looks like a vault down here. Nice job, Kyle. Thank you, Raven. I appreciate that. I enjoyed making this place. It was cool. It was super random, and I got a lot of it done today. It was really, really, really neat to make this. I was super happy. I just sometimes get in that mode where, like, the two rooms that Sam's exploring right now, I totally just, like, threw those together real fast because I started to have that, like, spinning idea. I was like, oh, it's going to be this, and there's going to be that there. Raven, you are out in the main lobby where he has his face on that screen, and also his face is repeating on those other screens as well. Are you interacting with him out there, by the way? Morbus, see more like him. Nice.
Wow,
eyes.
Mr. Modus, humans made all this stuff, but then we destroy it all in matter of minutes.
Raven, you don't know how correct you are. You see, I represented a small faction within the previous structure of this country's government, and, well, I can't tell you enough about how burdensome they were. Not to mention how much damage they did. But that seems like a story for another day. I would like to be of assistance to the people of this region in rebuilding in any way possible. And as I gain access to more power to these facilities, I'm certain I will uncover more uses and treachery from the previous administration.
Yeah, it seems sad best to help the ones that live now.
Well, that's what we're trying to do after all, isn't it? If you need any resources, I would be happy to send you with anything on your way. Raven, I actually will give you, and Sam, you can have this too. I just want to put it out there. If you want to try to get anything in particular from him, you could try a charisma, some of the speech style check here. One thing I want to put on the table from him, and this is a big one. He will modify. He will add a mod to potentially one of you each, but it would be a high-level skill check to convince him to do that. But I want to float that idea out there since we haven't really messed around with mods yet. He could do things like that, or he could simply fabricate you other supplies. But I guess what I'm trying to outline is he is in this giving mood, but based on what power and resources he has, the higher the ask, the higher the skill check. So, and I'll kind of math that out in my mind, if that makes sense, just on the fly. But to throw it out there, he would mod weapons or gear. And he could also part with other supplies that you can either eyeball on the map or things you think he could reasonably fabricate. He doesn't fully know either, to be fair. Neither does Kyle, the GM. So we'll all kind of suss it out based on what sort of things you might want, if any at all. But the option stands. Ferg, thank you.
I'm just checking out some of the mods that exist.
Sure. Max says I can spin. You wanna do a roll to see we could do one of oh, you're spinning your icon. Sorry, I wondered how you did that. I don't understand it at all. Sorry, I thought you meant rolling your dice. What I was going to say is one of the ways we could simply do this is that you could roll any, just without a difficulty. You could roll and see how many successes you score, and that would unlock a certain level of fabrication, if that's also an easier sort of way to do it. When it comes to mods, they're probably looking for 4 or 5 success on that one. So just to let people know, mods are considered, you got a full pool of 6 AP, just a heads up. But mods are considered one of the things that get really powerful in this game really fast. So just to throw it out there. Raven, this is maybe actually me offering up too. If you want to try and get anything done to your bow was one of those items that if you want to keep it competitive, it might need some mods here in the future to do that. just as a thought. I mean, you can get some perks as well as you're leveling up, but
I'll roll to get Raven an upgrade. She could probably use it better than my combat shotgun, so I'm down for that.
then I'll be real open about it and say, not just limited to the single die you can usually do to assist Sam. We'll let Raven lead. Well, I mean, you know what? Again, now she's not going to lead. You can both do the complete version of a test, especially considering you were sort of talking to two different Modus terminals. I know Raven's moved her character since then, but you're having that conversation with two different terminals. So if you guys want to run that test and combine all of your successes, so what that could mean is if Sam has the best skill, Sam could spend the most amount of AP if you want. You know, if he scores like 3 or 4 wins and then Raven scores like 1 or 2, that'd be pretty good.
I will pay 3 to use 2 extra die.
Go for it. And you're perked.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to mention as well.
Great. 3 successes right off the bat. That's really awesome. That's really great. Sam could use, you just regained a luck point if you want to throw that in. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to require you to decide what you want to do first, adjacent of Raven doing this. So before she rolls, before you know, because you're sort of, the way I'm headcanoning this thing is I see you both talking to 2 separate terminals, like at the same exact time. She's in the lobby and you're in this room. Raven, I'm moving your token back. Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, she's in the lobby, you're in this room. You know, you're both getting sort of this option about like, hey, I can, do this fabrication for you. So, Sam, you just have to decide whether or not you want to use luck before it goes back to Raven. For Raven, you could add 2 extra points to your 2 extra dice to your roll based on your AP pool.
Did I use my perk to reroll that 18?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nope, sweet.
Isn't that an extra success though? Why does it say 3? Didn't you have 3 a minute ago?
I think it's one of those goofy things when you re-roll it. Sometimes
it doesn't count.
Fix the successes.
So it's 4 now. Right, because 10, 7, 2. So Sam yielded 4 successes, Raven. Hi, Lou. Do you urgently need to go outside? You seem kind of urgent. I might have to do, 10:30. Let me run a really quick AFK screen for just a minute. Sam, Raven, if you two want to look at any of your stats and things like that too, that'd be really cool. What scene do I want to go? No, that's not the right one. Let's just throw this up for a second. Yep, I'll be right back, everybody. Pardon me a moment. Sam and Raven, your mics are still live well enough, so if you want to talk to them at all, you're welcome to.
Hello, chat.
Yes, hello, chat. I hope everyone is having a wonderful night.
Okay, I return. Thank you for giving me that moment. Doggo is in the house now. Okay, so Sam, you got 4 successes. Raven, you can roll yourself a speech and charisma check too. Are you going to spend your spend? Whoa! Okay, great. That was a good spend then. Okay. Right, because she does not have a very strong charisma skill, huh? So great dice spend. You did get 5 out of 5 on your setup there. So looking at bows, I'm trying to jog my brain. Where do the bow stats sit? We may even workshop stuff if you want to thematically stay with a bow, just before we even get into like the nitty gritty of this stuff. There are a couple mods that can be put on a bow. There's a compound frame, there's iron sights, there's glow sights. Okay. Most of them do not affect damage. Yeah, Macking a charmer, that's funny. Most of these don't affect damage. There is the compound frame that adds 1 damage. It removes the recoil effect, which actually would mean your character could be less strength focused if that were ever an interest. But it does reduce its fire rate by 1. So it would just mean you could fire 1 less arrow at a time. Those are the ones that are on there. Having scored so well on this test, and you being a strong bow person, I would also offer up some homebrew options here as well. I think making your bow competitive is probably adding about 2 more combat dice to it is realistically an option. So a raw damage increase of 2. You might be interested in that frame. So what we could do is you could swap to that frame. You'd fire 1 less arrow, but we'll actually give you. And pardon me, I don't know what I'm going to do on the math here. Can you roll an attack right now from your bow, Raven, just so I can be familiarized with its stats and damage? I forget how many it rolls right now. I think it's like 3 or 4. It rolls 4. And Sam, what are some of your weapons? Could you fire off some of? We're not wasting your ammo. No one's actually firing here. But what's one of yours? Because your shotgun's a lot.
Yes, but it also adds some damage from my perks. I think 1 is from a perk, so it might be 5.
Gotcha. And I think Raven's in a similar case already with hers, where hers adds. She's got 1 buffed in there as well. So Raven, there is the option here. You could do the compound bow frame. It'll add 1 more combat dice to your thing. It will remove the recoil effect, which doesn't affect you already unless you choose to lower your strength in the future, which would be an option. It'll lower your fire rate by 1. I have the notion, though, and I want to, again, just toss this out there to you, whether it's this upgrade or a later one, I think it would be cool if you could edit your bow to make it more effective in short range as well as long. Like there's one where you can increase your range by a step. These bow upgrades don't exactly impress me as they are written in the book, respectfully, that they're just not huge. There is the glow sights. It increases your range by 1 step, and you gain the accurate effect. See what accurate does. I shouldn't have done it the way I just did it. Let me search it in here. So we can kind of workshop a little bit of this out of game too. If you take the aim minor action before attacking with an accurate weapon, you may spend up to 3 AP to add 1 combat dice per AP spent to the attack's damage. If you gain damage in this way, you may not spend ammunition for extra damage. A weapon cannot be both accurate and inaccurate. Whoa. So if Raven, just throw out there that if you put that one on your bow, let me go back to the bow for a second. That's actually really powerful. That makes it like a melee weapon where you can start to add extras. Plus, Mac, you can also get extra archer perks too that will add more combat dice to your attacks. Just a heads up there too. So maybe we could potentially shelve this conversation for later if you want, or you could jump on any of them that exist. I'll send a screenshot that's right here for you. These exist, but I would also be, again, open to workshopping some others, like a range shortener, or even adding maybe an extra combat die of damage upon it. Though, if you take the compound bow mod, that actually pairs really well with glow sights in the future, because glow sights mean you can't use a fire rate. You can't send any extra arrows sailing. So those two in combination, compound frame and glow sights, are pretty nice.
I will take the compound mod.
Okay. Very good. Modus, you have this conversation with him. He asks, what all your ambitions and goals are for gear. He offers you some options. And as you gesture towards your bow, sort of slung over your back, Modus goes, "Ah, yes, that is probably difficult for you to slay monsters with in such dangerous and precarious times. If you were to allow," and at this time you see that one of the Colonel Gutsies comes up behind you. "If you would be so kind to allow my assistant here to take that from you a moment, I'm sure we could spruce it up a bit and enhance it with some useful upgrades." Do you hand over the bow to the Colonel Gutsy?
Sure, Mr. Modus.
The Gutsy reaches out. "Why, thank you." And he zips off. He goes down the other hallway. And Modus says, "Well, as you wait for upgrades, you could join your friend Samuel in the other room, or you could remain here until he ventures outwards." Yeah, we'll get your bow adjusted after the game. I'll teach you. You go in there and add an extra point. So you go down the way and you come into the room there, coming up behind Sam. Let's zip over our people in the audience. Going down the hall and up and over and into the supply/food storage area here. And Sam, as you're having your conversation with Raven, with Modus, Raven comes up over your shoulder here.
Welcome back, Raven. How'd it go?
Good. Modus is fixing my bow.
Oh, that's awesome. Fantastic. Appreciate it, Modus. If we could just get, a few rations, we'll be on our way right after that's finished.
I think I could part with some. If I remember correctly, Raven is a fan of Blamco mac and cheese, a pre-war classic. And you, Samuel, what do you prefer for food?
Got any Salisbury steak?
Let me check. Let me see what sort of inventory log he's got. Sorry, I'm just rolling some dice here. Just to see what he has on hand. Okay. As you kind of give him your request in the menu, so to speak, what we'll say comes out of one of these machines over in this area, one of these open top ones that sort of a little bit of a robotic arm almost lifts that lid off of it. I'm imagining it to be one of those like the heat dome sort of lids. I forget the technical name for it, but pulls that up and slides it away. And sitting on the top there are 2 of the saddle up Salisbury steaks and 4 boxes of Blamco mac and cheese. You did really well on the rolls there for the Blamco, especially. Fantastic. So 2 Salisbury steak, 4 Blamco. If you need any water to rehydrate your sustenance, there's water at those taps as well.
Thank you, Modus.
Certainly. Anything I can do. This gives me a purpose, something to occupy my time. Also,
Well,
whenever you decide to pursue the power plant further, if you are able to give me some notice, there is a likelihood that I could further facilitate your journey, though it will be long and potentially deadly. More deadly than the rest of the Wasteland.
well, we will certainly keep it in mind. We have quite a few things to knock off the checklist, but I have a feeling that we'll be seeing you again sometime soon.
Good. I hope you both will stay alive longer. And that our friendship should be lucrative and fruitful for both of us. One last question that I have for you, Samuel. When are your associates planning on rehabitating the upper portions of this facility? I have expended resources to repair the damage incurred on the wall from the last visit. Nothing more than a structural destruction. But if you are planning on having people here, I would be interested so that I know when to open my doors to them and what areas they may want to access.
Once I get back to Hope, I'll mention it to Tom. We're having some trouble in the town right now, but after everything kind of settles down, I'm sure that they'll be able to send some people up this way.
Good. It would be lovely to have these areas reoccupied again. And I'm sure it could be very beneficial for their expansion throughout the area.
Well, thank you once again, Modus, for everything. It's definitely going to help us out here.
It's about at this time you're having that conversation with him that the door opens up, and in comes the Colonel Gutsy holding your bow, Raven, edited, augmented, adjusted with a compound bow feature, which you now have in chat. So you can decide, later after stream we can add to it, but you now get extra damage die on your bow. If your strength, you choose to adjust that perk or special in the future, this bow does not have recoil to it either. So that's just a beneficial thing. Other weapons, of course, still have recoil, and strength can be useful for that and many other things.
Mr. Modus, do robots eat food like us, or do you use something else for fuel? And thank you for the new bow, this look great.
To answer your question, all robots have different sources of power. Some are powered by fusion cells, others by internal batteries. Mr. Handy's are notorious for using a specific fuel. This place is powered by fusion reactors, as you saw upstairs.
Well, if that answers your question, right, then I think we'll be headed on our way.
Well, it was a lovely time seeing you both again.
It was good seeing you too. Hopefully, we'll be able to keep our relationship beneficial in the future and get this stuff going. Get this power sent across Appalachia.
His face goes back to that ear to ear grin he has before. Basically, anytime you mention getting the power back online, he very notably, he just, he shifts between those two animations, between like happy ecstatic and just neutral faced. And so anytime the conversation goes back to like mutually beneficial relationship or setting up the power grid, he gets that ear to ear grin again.
So don't feed Al mac and cheese.
It would not be beneficial to feed your robot mac and cheese. Though I may have something here that could be of assistance to you. He yields out of one of the dispensers that's in the room, 2 robot repair kits pop out as well. It is not wise to feed them food. However, you can use these to repair your robot when it's damaged. That's the great thing about pre-war robotics. Most damage can be repaired. I noticed you were very sentimental for your Mr. Handy unit last time. And that sentimentality confuses me because it cannot die permanently unless you are to completely vaporize the frame. But even then, most Mr. Handy units are default factory settings. Any aberrations added to their personality are symptoms of their environment. I suppose the same is true for you as it is even for me.
I don't know. You know, they just kind of, it might be some type of programming within us. We got this little thing called empathy that just really, it drives us to consider even a machine as a friend.
Friend. In my experience, words are a distraction. But I come from a different time and a different people. Things here, well, not here, but where I reside other than here, many people use the term friend, and they were just as quick to kill each other. So, I will leave that as one of life's mysteries for me to observe and dissect as time goes on. I hope that we will be friends, and not the type of friends that kill each other.
I have dealt with some things like that in the past, and I do hope that, I hope that you're correct.
Time will test all things, Samuel.
When he does mention that about friends killing each other's friends, I do think back to a time where one of my good war buddies betrayed another one of my friends while we were out there. And it just sends a shiver. And I hope that I never see anything like that again.
He just stares back at you vacantly, sort of waiting for any prompt or input or decision.
Thank you for everything again, Modus. Hopefully we can become friends. I will. We'll try to get back to you as soon as possible.
Good. I'm sure I will hear of your progress over the radio. And as he sort of says that, the Colonel Gutsy opens up the door, or stands in the way of the newly opened door, sort of waiting for you if you want to follow. If you go towards him, he's going to continue to lead you, but he's sort of just patiently, almost very drone-like. Like these robots, Raven heard it speak earlier, but they're not fully autonomous things. More like hive drones, sort of following the lead of Modus. So, as you say your parting words to him, the Mr. Handy, Colonel Gutsy, whatever his name is, leads you out and up to the elevator. And just like you did before in turns, you can, it seems like Sam and Gutsy are going to go up first. Raven, are you doing anything down here before you leave? Technically, you
By
even...
Mr. Mobus.
Modus. If you wanted anything, like if you're poking around the desk or anything like that, just to say that is all there, but you can do as you will. If you don't want to, that's totally fine too. You can go right up the elevator. Which brings us to a really good spot in this episode. We are 5 minutes till about our conclusion.
Sorry, Modus.
Says that right before the elevator door closes. We have 5 minutes before we begin to wrap this up for tonight. So with that being said, thinking that we have Jim back next week and already having a very established game plan, unless people here want to do a little bit more like role play with that scenario, my thinking is you're probably at a pretty safe spot if you sort of want to fast travel and of sorts over this next, when we take our leave here, that your characters would probably travel, like we'd said. I'm going to pull up the map here just in a second. But your characters would travel the whole way back down. That gets you at a pretty great time because, as you well calculated before, you got to... We'll also say if you guys want to eat any of your food or anything like that, you have time to do so now, to drink or any of the rest. And that's all included in your travel. But you can make your way down, and your goal right now is basically to wait at the Red Rocket station until the dispatch from Hope gets your way.
Yes, and also I was gonna say, is Jim okay at this point? Has he healed up, or are we gonna wait for him to get back to roll or something?
No, he'll be healed up completely whenever he's back.
Maybe he could just roll with the caravan that's leaving Hope, and we can all meet up at the same time, and then that way he can be with us when he gets back.
I like your thinking, because I was thinking the same thing earlier, but I thought I didn't want to throw a loop into your plan there. But I like that idea quite a lot. I was thinking to propose that too, that it makes sense that he could travel down. I wasn't sure if you guys, and this still stands, you guys could make the decision. I wasn't sure. And actually, I will leave this in your hands. Do you could have Jim come down and meet you next time, which could be cool because you guys could look at the APC down there. Or you guys could effectively fast travel, in quotes, that you've met with the caravan and you guys could be pulling back into Hope next time. So the question, TLDR, is when we resume next week, is it you resuming at the Red Rocket Station with a newly arriving Jim, or are you arriving at Hope with a newly, just rested Jim? That's for both of you.
I think it would be fun for us to meet up at the Red Rocket and like actually physically take the caravan as kind of a quest, because then maybe we can roll some die. We can roll some die and see if anything pops up.
Great.
That we can fight.
I like that, and I like it that I like that being an over the board discussion too, because I think there's a lot of fun in these style of caravan escorts, unlike the NPC ones in video games where they always get like stuck on a tree branch. You lose the whole quest because they won't go to the finish line. This takes a very different style. This is going to be a little bit more about like tactical placement on a map. Anytime we do like a caravan thing, that is to say, you guys would want to decide maybe, I'm just imagining here, really truly spitballing that, based on the map I give you, there could be like geographic advantages. You might want to hide your caravan behind a hill. You might want to whatever. You might want to set a trap with landmines. I'm just, again, spitballing. But what I really want to get down to is to say, you guys can always decide to take on one of those adventures. And like you said, we can roll dice and you'll get rewarded for it. But also, if you guys don't want to do that, if you're bored of like caravanning, it is perfectly okay to fast travel, that sort of stuff. Like I will enjoy either, both, but I don't ever want it to feel too repetitive for people. So that can be very much something that you can really flag for me as like a mini game that you want to do. We'll do these pauses and check-ins. There will be times, I have no doubt, that I will tell you like, fast travel's not an option because, there's something else happening up ahead or whatever. There's a plot line that you can't do that. But, for the ones that, again, you very much can, I like that we'll leave that as like an open discussion. So you might get some ghoulies next time that come after you on the road. That'll all be up to the dice.
I'm excited. I think the only last order of business is kind of figuring out who's going with it, because I know we kind of talked about that. So, like, is Rusty coming along and maybe like a raider?
Yeah, I think Rusty and a raider will go. I think that from Hope, Lena, Jim, I want to, because I love Protectrons. I want to send the police Protectrons, but I feel like they'd be slow. However, are they slower than Brahmin? It's like, that becomes a thing. They could just take, two guards or something like that as well. I don't know that they have that much to spare, to be honest. It's going to be about that. We'll say it's about that. It'll probably be Lena, Jim, and two guards that come down, and they'll bring the Brahmin, and they'll bring a cart with it too, because they know that they're coming to pick something up. They've been like using the Brahmin up in Hope to move sheet metal and like all kinds of stuff like that, like rebar, boards, and all the rest. Kyle, I swear, if you make me drive a garbage truck up a hill, yes, that's what you got to do. But anyway, no, I think that makes a lot of sense, that they'll come down like that, and they'll meet up with you down at the Red Rocket Station, bring Jim, and you guys can pick up there. Oh, you know what? I will swap one of the guards with the Alfred. And I do have, we have homework over the next week. Did I send this to you guys anywhere? Is it in our DM chat?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
His stats.
Right. Good. Yeah, let's decide on that for next week, what we're going to do. He gets one more perk. Oh, I wanted to flag. There is a perk that's almost like, I would consider it sort of necessary. I'm not sure if I want to homebrew change this. So, Mac, just as a clarification, I know you're going to need to go to bed soon. So this is officially the wrap up. If you need us to know anything about your character, feel free. I have gone back and forth on my understanding of how companions work. when I first read the rules, it sounds like they actually don't attack on their own, that you have to tell them to attack. Then I thought, oh, when you get the perk, then that makes that obsolete. You actually, it doesn't take your major action to command them to attack. They just attack. But now as I keep reading, that's not what it is, that there's actually a perk. Sorry if that sounds confusing to everyone. It's very confusing to me. It's called Ready to Fight is the name of the perk. And Ready to Fight, your companion has been trained for battle. When you succeed at an attack, your companion attacks as well, choosing to make a ranged or melee. The companion's attack hits automatically, but inflicts half the listed damage, rounded up to a minimum of 2 combat dice. If the companion is a creature with natural melee attacks at 5th level, they get extra damage die. I don't like any of that. I don't know. That just feels bad to me. It feels so nerfed as a non-combat character. I think it's supposed to make things feel a little like tighter and more choosy, that you must decide if it's going to be you that attacks this round or whether you tell your companion to attack. I just want to throw that out there as like heads up before, as part of the homework, that perk might be something that I think we just sort of write off. I don't know. I'm not a fan of like the nerfed companion. I don't like it when my pets in video games are like weakened and, less than. So just a thought, just to put that out there. I think that's important. And if we have any like rule litigator sort of people that watch these streams, feel free to comment below on YouTube or anything like that and let me know what your thoughts are on these, because we're first timing these rules for everything. And I'm being very picky choosy when I reference the rules. Like there's times I know that there are things in the rule book that like have a definitive answer, but also I think it's just sort of fun to like fly by the seat of your pants. Not that we're changing the entire system, but like, I don't know what the official rules are about breaking into an APC, but I made them up and it was fun. I had fun. So, yeah, I want the rules to be advantageous to the player, so people are having a good time. I don't want anyone to be sitting there like, my Mr. Handy now takes my main attack and he only does two combat dice of damage. That seems weird.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd rather you guys, because he probably only gets like maybe 2 to 3 perks in his entire thing. I'd rather you guys take something flavorful, and that's what seems to be the other ones. Like they seem cutesy, like, oh, that would be very situational. Well, this is teamwork. The companion has been trained to accept commands from more than a single owner. Each turn in combat, you may select a different ally within medium range. The companion assists that ally as if they're the companion's owner during the turn. No character can be assisted more than once. So yeah, he can like double assist people, or judge of character. The companion has a sense for people and has a strong reaction to anyone it regards as a threat. When your companion meets an NPC, you may spend 1 luck point to let the companion make a perception plus observation test. What's an observation test?
When I was reading that, I thought the same thing, and I was like, is that something that only he has?
What the heck's an observation test? This is in the Settler's book. I'm going to look. Observation. Oh, no. Wait. Yeah, there's the one mention. That's the only mention of it. Typo! I guess they meant a perception and survival test, opposed by the NPC's charisma and survival immediately to judge whether the NPC is danger to companion. That's cool. I just gotta say, I think, again, flavor-wise, that would be fun. Max says we could mod him like the Fallout, like Ada. I don't know how that works, but yes. You can actually, there's a whole section in the Settler's Guide. You can recombobulate him if you would want. You can, at a robot workbench, which your town does not, your town does not have a robot workbench to the degree that would let you edit robots. But much like the robot workbench in Fallout 4, you can completely edit things. You could give them like robo-brain arms and protectron legs and all that stuff. Yeah, exactly, Mac. Yes, you could put tracks on them. Yes. Theoretically. I don't think that would serve your Mr. Handy very well. Maybe, but because he could just float over stuff. But, who knows? You guys can decide. It's your world. It's your sandbox. However, you will have to make or find or acquire a robot workbench, and they're a little bit spicier in the ingredient list. It says they're the most expensive bench, which is, I guess, sensible. But that leaves you guys the world to explore. You could always find one in like a robot facility or something like that. Or I don't have it planned, but like maybe if you talk to Modus another time in the future as better friends, like maybe he could, open some of that to you as well. And yeah. Console commanded in, says Mag. Well, that's where we'll get ready to put a pin. Sorry, Sam. Go ahead, Sky.
Oh, I'm just excited. I'm stoked. Can't wait for next week.
Good. Same. I know. It'll be great to have Jim back, too. We want to have Dark Knight back in the game. That'd be absolutely fantastic. I'm thrilled with all the content that they just uploaded, that we got all the books. Finally, I've been waiting for this for so long that it's actually kind of not dawning on me. Like, I haven't deployed any of the new enemies in here, but they're loaded in, so I got a lot more... I got a lot more stuff. Maybe I need to make some of these. I need to make some roller automations in Alchemy. You can do that. So I could make some that have like for next week, for example, I could put some like random roll die in here for what kind of things could pop up on the road. Oh, that's neat. Okay, let's put a pin in it for tonight, everybody. I want to thank everyone for coming out to the stream. We do this live on YouTube and Twitch on Sunday nights. We do the pre-show specifically on Twitch at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Then we kick the main show off at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And to all of you who watch this later on YouTube, I am blown away. The view count has been phenomenal. Thank you to everyone that's been coming through watching the YouTube shorts. And I know it might sound tacky or repetitive or all the other things, but truly, whenever you guys like, comment, subscribe, it actually matters. Like, it really does. I think YouTubers undersell it when they do their little spiel often. Like, it is the difference between the content being seen by anybody and nobody at all. It's kind of crazy like that. So, in fact, I'm usually the first person to like the thing that gets it going. Like, I see that it went live because I schedule it, and then I go, oh, like, and then I leave my comment under it, and then it gets into the algorithm. It's like it's waiting for that last, like, chef's kiss or something. Eventually, the algorithm will pick it all up on its own and do that. But just to see that we're getting like 400 to 600 views on the reels, I've been thinking about maybe doing some tutorial videos about, or review videos about some Fallout props, show off some of these books, take people on a little bit tour of the backside of the game. So if you're out there and interested in this is the Modiphius Fallout 2D20 system. And I have been your overseer, Kyle, tonight. A big thank you to Skylar playing Sam and to Mac Raven playing Raven. We appreciate you all joining us. We will be back next week, same time, same place, same channel. Also see our Substack that has the podcasts. Overseer's log is up there. Get in on the extra details. And Overseer Kyle YouTube channel, brand new. Peace out, everyone. Good night, and stay safe in the Wasteland.